All right. Before we actually get into the review, there's a couple of things I wanted to address. So we're going to go into, I put those formula charts back there for a reason. Tomorrow is a quiz. So on quizzes, you do get to use your notes. But when we have the unit test in a couple of weeks, you won't have your notes. So you need to know how to use the formula chart to help you figure these rules out. Okay. Now, the first rule that we learned was the product rule, which is the very first line right here, second section. When you multiply the variables, what are you supposed to do with the exponents? Add them. Okay. The second rule, how did we distinguish or how did we identify that the right here that we were supposed to multiply?
Because it's in parentheses.
Because you see parentheses, right? The parentheses is separating your exponents. So when you have parentheses tells you to distribute or multiply. So you multiply your exponents. The third rule that we learned was last week was the quotient rule. When you divide your variables, what do you do with the exponent? You subtract top minus bottom. Notice M is at the top, N is at the bottom, top minus bottom. Yes? Okay. And then the last rule that we learned, or one of the last rules that we learned, was the negative rule. The negative rule, it looks weird here. This is the only one that looks weird on the formula chart. So I'm just going to do it this way. Remember, if you have a negative exponent, you cannot have a negative exponent in your final answer. So you turn it into a fraction and move whatever it is to the denominator. Or if it's negative in the denominator, you move it to the numerator, right? So I take my a to the negative n, move it down. When I move it down, it becomes positive. And since I do not have an exponent or a numerator at the top, I fill it in with what? With the number 1. Okay? That's why it looks the way it does. It looks confusing in the formula chart, but basically flip-flop it, right? The only rule that I did not show you, and I did not show you for a reason, was the rational exponent rule. One, because it's just one more rule that you had to remember or that you had to know how to do. Two, the way it's tested, it looks like the product rule, so you really don't need to know it, okay? They're not going to show you this, but you can type x to the, or you can type a power of 1/2, right? Whenever you get your little box like that, just do alpha x, put in a fraction, okay? You're not going to get tested with the radical symbol anyway. Now, one other thing I wanted to address before going into the review. A lot of you got this wrong. I did not count it wrong because I did tell you just work it out the way we did in the notes, but you got it wrong on number 1. Okay, a lot of you gave me the answer of 32. 32, even though it's not wrong, it's also not right because you didn't answer the question. The question is, what is the value of n? Okay, it says the expression is equivalent to 2 to the power of n. So if it's asking for n, it's asking for the final exponent. It's not asking you to put it into the calculator and simplify it all the way, okay? This is the quotient rule. The quotient rule tells us that we do what with the exponents? We subtract. So 2 minus negative 3 is going to change to a what? Plus sign. And 2 plus 3 is 5. This is equivalent to 2 to the power of n. So what is n? 5. Okay, so make sure you're actually reading the questions as well. Okay, be careful. All right, starting with the review. A lot of this goes really fast because they're pretty simple. So here we go. The first one is what rule? Product rule. This one's no different than writing y to the power of 1 times y to the power of 5. So what do you do with the exponent? Add them, and 5 plus 1 is 6. Same thing with number 2. Even though they use parentheses, it's no different than having that dot right there. So what do we do with the exponent? Add them, and 2 plus 7 is 9. Next one, same thing, but we're adding what numbers? 5 plus 1. When you don't have an exponent, Fill it in with the number 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. Number 4. Number 4, you do group, but -7 doesn't group with anything. And then when you group the x's, what do you do with the exponent? Add them, so you get x to the power of 6. It doesn't change up until number 6. So, yeah, we keep going. All right, number 5, group. When we group our a's together, and we get a to the power of 8. 5 plus 3 is 8. Group your b's, you get b to the power of 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. Number 6 is a different rule. What rule do we use here?
Power of power.
Power rule. We use power of a power rule. Why? Because it has what? Parentheses. And the parentheses tells us to do what with the 7 and the 4? Distribute them or multiply. And 7 times 4 is 28. Okay. Number 7. That outside 3 is going to distribute to every exponent inside. Remember, don't confuse it for 4 times 3. It's 4 to the power of 1 times 3, which is
4 to the power of 3.
4 to the power of 3. X to the power of
6.
And b to the power of
3.
Now, on the STAR test, they might ask you to simplify this part further. The answer could be that, or they could do 4 to the power of 3 in the calculator. What's 4 times 4 times 4? 64. X6, B3. Okay? It could be either or. Number 8, you are going to distribute that 3, but notice that 3 does not apply to what part of the problem? It doesn't apply to the -3 because the -3 is not where? Inside of the parentheses. So the -3 comes straight down. You only multiply, you only distribute that 3 with the 1 and the 4. So you get a to the power of
3.
And b to the power of
12.
Questions so far? Okay. Number 9. Number 9 actually has an extra question there, so make sure you're being careful. But first, let's simplify it like we normally would. Always start with the parentheses. The second G has an outside exponent, so make sure you distribute that first. So we get G to the 15th times G to the 10th. Then we apply what rule? The product rule tells us to do what with the exponents? Add them. So we end up with G to the 25th. Now it says that is equivalent. Equivalent means equals G to the P. So if they're asking us what is P, they're asking for what? The exponent, the 25. Okay? Problems like this where they ask you an additional question, those are probably on the STAR test going to be the ones where you fill in the blank, where you type an answer. So regardless, it won't let you type in a letter. So that should give you that should raise a red flag and let you know, okay, maybe there's a second part to the question. Okay. Number 10. Let's simplify this by grouping. We're going to group the x's. What do we do with those exponents? Subtract. And 5 minus 5 is?
0.
Anything to the power of 0 is? 1. Then we group our y's. Subtract the exponent. 3 minus 2 is? 1. Yep. But the second part of the question is asking us for n. N is the exponent on what variable? On the y. So n equals 1. If they ask you for m, you would say m is equal to 0. Because the exponent on x is m, and the exponent on x is 0, right? Number 11. With this one, I'm still getting some mistakes. Whenever you group, the first group that we're going to have here is our coefficients. Negative 2 over 14. Negative 2 over 14, those are regular sized numbers. The subtraction only applies to your exponents because these are exponent rules, okay? These are regular sized numbers, so that means it's a regular fraction. You simplify it, putting it in as a fraction in the calculator. What is negative 2 over 14? Negative 1/7. These numbers are not subtracted. You subtract the exponents, and these are not exponents, so make sure you're careful with that. Now we go with the y's. Y to the power of 7 minus 5 is?
2.
Okay. Now, what is the question that's asking us for? What is a coefficient? The coefficient is negative 1/7. What's the definition of a coefficient for somebody that doesn't remember what it is? The number connected to a variable. The number in front of a variable. So, very good. Yeah. Okay, number 12. Let's group. The first group that we're going to have is negative 6 over 3. Negative 6 over 3 simplifies to? Negative 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2, right? Your A's, even though they're mixed up in the problem, you still only group your A's. And when you group your A's, you subtract your exponents. 3 minus 2 is? 1. Group the B's. When we group the B's, what do we subtract? 7 minus 4 is?
3.
Okay. And then you group your C's. C1 minus 0 is?
C1.
Yeah. Now it says, what is the value of M? What are they asking us for? The exponent of A, which is 1. Any questions on the front side? Flip it over to the back. All right. What part do we take care of first? Distribute. Are we going to distribute just to the top?
No.
Also to the bottom. The parentheses is around the whole fraction, so that 3 must be distributed to the top and bottom. So my new numerator is x to the power of?
8.
And then my new denominator is x to the power of? 9. Remember, you're multiplying, not... Yeah. And now we do what with the exponents?
Subtract.
So 15 minus 9 is?
6. 15 minus 9 is 6. I said that wrong?
No.
15 minus
I heard 2 different answers. All right.
15 minus 9 is 6?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Hold on.
Whoa, why are we having trouble? Okay. So what is...
I put 4.
What is n? 6.
It's not full potential.
All right, number 14. We do have to distribute the 3 in the numerator and the 2 in the denominator, but that 3 in the numerator does not apply to what part of the problem?
2.
Because 2 is not where?
In parentheses.
In the parentheses. If 2 is not in the parentheses, do not distribute that 3 over all the way over to the 2. But for A, we get A to the power of
9.
and B to the power of
3.
Okay, on the bottom, once again, the 2 does not jump over the parentheses over to the 4. No, 4 is not in the parentheses, so it does not affect the 4. We do get A to the power of
4.
and B to the power of,
6.
okay, 6. Now we group. When we group the 2 and the 4, those are regular size numbers. They are coefficients. Simplify those like you normally would in the calculator. Do not subtract. 2 over 4 is what? 1/2. Okay? You subtract the little numbers. Do not subtract the big numbers. With the A, we're going to subtract 9 minus 4 to get us. And then with B, we subtract 3 minus 6. And that gets us negative 3. Can we have a negative exponent? No. So we turn it into a fraction and do what?
Put a 1 under.
flip it first. Okay. So we're left with 1/2 a to the 5th b cubed. Because we already have a fraction, there's no need to create another fraction. Now I have to insert a to the 5th and b cubed into this fraction. So what I'm going to do is extend this line to make space for them. A to the 5th is positive, goes at the top. B cubed was moved down, so write it down here. Questions? Smarty pants. All right. 15. 15 is the one that I was talking about, where you have that outside exponent. This is the only way you're going to see that rational exponent rule. All you have to do is distribute the 1/2. Now, it's not 4 times 1/2. It's 4 to raised to the power of 1 times 1/2. What is 1 times 1/2? 1/2. Okay. And then h to the power of 8 times 1/2. What is 1/2 of 8?
4.
And then what is 1/2 of -6?
-3.
Okay. So this -3, that one will have to be flipped to the bottom of the fraction to make it positive.
So it'd be 4 to the power of 1/2. H to the power of 4 over K to the power of 3.
What is 4 to the power of 1/2? 2. 2. Now, just FYI, the power of 1/2 is another way of writing the square root. The square root of 4 is 2. All right. So we do need a fraction. Whole number 2 goes at the top. H to the 4th is positive, so at the top. And we ended up moving K3 to the bottom. Questions? All right. Skips 16 and 17. 16 and 17 have not been, have never been tested. 16 and 17 have never been tested. So, all right, number 18. The 1/2 does not apply to the 5. Bring the 5 down. But we do get h to the power of
1/2.
and k to the power of
1/2.
done. Number 19. That's it. There's nothing else to do. Distribute the 1/5. We get m to the power of and n to the power of
1/5.
done.
Yay! We did.
Number 20. Last one. Soccer field has a length and width. Which expression would represent the area? How do you find area of anything? Okay, so what is the length of the soccer field? And what is the width? So what rule do we apply to this?
Power.
Not the power rule. We apply the product rule. And the product rule tells us to do what with those exponents? Add them. So 3 plus 5 is?
R to the power of 8.
8. The area is R8.
The correct answer is
And that is it.
we did it, Drew.
That's pretty easy.